Hello everybody, it's Jim050918 in Las Vegas, and we are now heading to Boston tonight to see if Boston can close out the 76ers. Hank, good morning. How's everything with you in South Florida?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Everything is good. We've got some news on the Preakness. It looks like Chad Brown may run his horse, who ran second in the Derby. They had reported on the NBC telecast that he said he wasn't going to run in the Preakness. He won't run his horse Magic Moon in the Belmont, but now they say he may run. And the interesting item on the Preakness is that Quip, who's owned by the same people who own Justified, will run in the Preakness, and he's got some speed, and he's the only one who could challenge Justify early in that race. So, but it's going to be a fairly small field in the Preakness, so that's the latest on that.
Interesting. How many horses do you expect?
Right now, it looks like it's maybe a 9-horse field at tops.
Right. Well, the prices are up. Golden State, Houston, 2-point favorite in the first game, but the series price has Golden State the favorite to win that. That should be an interesting series. Harden does not look like Harden. It looks like he's off his game a little bit.
I'll tell you something that watching them play. They were in trouble last night until the rookie from Utah got hurt. He had 22 points in the third quarter. And, they might have lost that game if he hadn't gotten hurt. And it was only when he went out that Houston pulled away. And, of course, they had a remarkable performance by their guard, who scored 40 points and set a record because he didn't turn the ball over, and he was on fire. But I'll tell you what's interesting. If you watch them play, and I think the announcers pointed it out, and that is that they don't run any set plays. They just and they talk about how they asked the coach about it. He says, "No, we don't run set plays. And they just come down the floor and they shoot from wherever they are. And you never see their players breaking toward the basket. And they don't pass the ball around all that much. They just they just come down and take the first 3-point shot that's available to them. And once in a while, Harden will drive. And the only guy who really shoots from inside the 3-point range is, their all-star guard. Otherwise, they're just looking for threes. But they don't have any kind of set offense that teams are going to have to defend against. And I think they're not going to match up very well against Golden State. And I don't think they're going to do well at all in the next series. I don't like their style of play at all. If they're not hitting the threes, they're doomed.
Well, that's what basketball, the NBA, has turned out to be. There's no question. And if you look at the game stats every game when they're over, the team that hits the most threes is the winner most of the time, so maybe 70% of the time. It's hard to predict that ahead of time, but that's what's working out. It's a different kind of game for sure. The inside game is a little bit different than years ago. We have a couple teams that play some set plays and move it around. Boston, for one, is one of those teams. This series, T.J. McConnell the other night for Philly made a remarkable difference. He not only scored 19 points, but he set up a lot of players. His drives to the basket, his hustle. That's a different team with him on the floor, and he's getting the start again tonight.
Well, we'll see what he does on the road. And they'll be ready for him tonight. But, Cleveland is a team that looks to go to the basket. And, you got Embiid, who plays from 19 feet out, which is so absurd. But the other night, he was going to the basket a little more frequently. But, that's why I like the New Orleans team. They have set offenses, and they will go to the basket with their players. And, they've got a guy who I think is a standout player who, they play basketball more the old-fashioned way, and I think they're just a player away from being a big threat. I like that team a lot.
Well, they did lose a star.
And,
they did lose a star player in Cousins earlier, and
yeah, exactly.
so it's they are a good team. That's for the future. They're somebody to watch for sure. I have my concerns about the line on tonight's game with Boston being a slight favorite or slight dog, depending on where you look. It could be one either way. But in the first two games, Philadelphia was a 4.5-point favorite in Boston, and that's a pretty big adjustment. No question, Boston has not lost a home game yet in the playoffs, but that is a big adjustment in the line. When they went to Philly, they were a 9-point dog, and then the last game was 6.5. So it's been the line's been moving, and I'm not too sure that if the original lines were a representation of the power of the teams, it's the power rating of the teams. This is a huge adjustment in the line.
Well, it had to be because remember, Philadelphia came into the playoffs having won, this series anyway, having swept the series against Miami pretty much, and having been on an incredible run coming into the playoffs. And everybody thought that this was the team that was going to beat Cleveland. And what happened was that, the coach has pretty much frozen up in the series against Boston. And I think they had to adjust the line because, Philadelphia has played pretty much stupid basketball.
Well, true. The last game was interesting. Let's see if Boston can bring it back home. They have a great head coach, a lot of schemes, a lot of plays they run. They're very very intelligent basketball team.
They had a very bad night shooting in that last game. They could hit anything.
Sure did. Baseball is baseball. The Yankees are just absolutely red hot. Now Stanton's starting to hit. This is going to be a very, very tough team to beat going down the stretch if they get the pitching that they need going forward.
Well, they've got the closer and the bullpen, which is always been the trademark of good Yankee teams, and they've got good power hitting, and the Red Sox have kind of tailed off since their red hot beginning. So right now the Yankees have a big edge, particularly in Yankee Stadium.
They sure do. Arizona went into extra innings yesterday to beat the Dodgers. That was an interesting game. Dodgers have not lived up to what they were doing last year.
Well, they've got their aces on the disabled list. So between that and losing their shortstop, just everything is going against them right now. But Kershaw is on the disabled list. He's got, I think, a tendonitis problem in his shoulder. And, that race out west is not going their way at all. And they can't seem to win. And you know, I'll tell you, the Phillies are playing well in the East race, and they've got a nice club right now. Houston is still strong. You know, you got to watch some of these pitchers. There 3 no-hitters in the last 2 weeks. That's pretty unusual.
Yeah, Paxton did a great job last night. That was a very remarkable performance by him. That was really good.
New Orleans, you know, NFL news is New Orleans loses one of their star running backs for 4 weeks for failing a test on PEDs. And the Raiders made a significant signing. They signed a free agent linebacker from Kansas City who's a terrific player, and he's going to help their defense. So he'll be playing in the middle. So the Raiders are really getting their defense strengthened, and that's going to be a terrific race to watch in that AFC West.
Yeah, that is a good race. Don't question. San Diego has, if you look at the over and under win totals, San Diego, no, excuse me, it's the Chargers, the LA Chargers, have the highest win total predicted, which is interesting. And Denver is just behind them. Oakland's there, right behind them, and Kansas City doesn't. They're not getting that much love this year in the predictions. But I have to mention a baseball game tonight, and I just noticed this while we were talking. Detroit, Lariano, Texas with Cologne. Cologne opened a 120 favorite, unless I'm looking at the wrong number. That is the number there, but it's now 175. That is huge. Unless that first number was a bad number that they put out, that is a huge price and a huge adjustment.
I don't know why that would be, but those two teams have been scoring a lot of runs against each other. So those pitchers have their work cut out for them in that series.
Yeah, we know what Cologne can do from time to time. He can, despite his age, he can come out there and mow down the batters, I'm sure. But that's a huge price. I just thought I'd point that out before we get off the air. Anything else you'd like to talk about, Hank, before we sign off?
No, I think we've covered it all.
Okay, well, thank you, Hank. We'll talk to you again real soon. Have a good day.
You too, Jim. Thanks.
Thank you.